Hello, this is a new GMP Detox session about US-FDA 21 CFR Part 820 for medical devices. My name is Markus Römer, and I want to give you a quick overview about this regulation. So I'm initially planning it to do it on one slide, but I will show you also some additional information on that. But 21 CFR Part 820, it's also called Quality System Regulations for Medical Devices. So I put it here in one slide. So if you have a medical device, I was saying there are three stages: development, manufacturing, and the usage. During the development of medical devices, you will have design inputs, design outputs, you will do design reviews, maybe several ones, and you have the design history file. Basically that's the birth certificate of your medical device, and it could happen that you have design changes, even if the medical device is in manufacturing. In general, from a QM perspective, you have different key areas like management, document control, or to be precise, document records control, the purchasing of medical devices, of components or something like this. You work with different classes, with different risk management approaches. So what is very important then, what will come then, is the design transfer. You will find these expressions also in the relevant chapter of 21 CFR Part 820. Then the manufacturing is based on a device master record. That defines the bill of materials, your routings, the different workstations, and so on, how you will produce it. And that's very important from coming from the design history file by the design transfer, that you are able to create batches. You have different components. You will do a risk assessment on the components. It could be that you produce them yourself or you also purchase them. You specify the test equipment. The range of medical devices is very wide. You will create lot batch control numbers. And finally, if you have produced your medical device, you will have a device history record. You will use that for your quality decision. You compare your device master record derived from the design history file, that you have the final device history record, and then you use that for your quality decision for a batch release, or it could happen that you do not release a batch. Then you might have here production and process changes, and this is also important. This is something else than design changes, but you see there are also other sub processes like non-conformities. In the GMP world, you would call it deviations. Then you have changes, you have kappas. So a kappa could be that you need to change the design of your medical device, or you do some retraining, or you write a procedure or whatever. And that all goes into that, I would call it the control between development, manufacturing, and the usage. Because if you then go to the usage section, you have a finished device. There might be also some tracking requirements, Part 821 and so on, the labeling requirements, the storage, the distribution, and the retention period of your records might differ also based on the medical device, what type, what class it is. So in simple words, that's the landscape of medical devices for according Part 820. Some background on Part 820, because basically that was very quick, but I wanted to give you a big picture first of that. You will find all the informations on the Code of Federal Regulations on the website of the US-FDA. What you see here is also that you always find the current version in the electronic Code of Federal Regulations. I have that on here on the next side. It is here, the eCFR.gov. Gov stands for government. Quite very nice. If you look on that, you will also have some additional information. You can print it as a PDF. You have different display options. You can look on the timeline, for example, or go to any specific date. You can compare dates. So that's quite very powerful. I also have opened here a guidance for industry. Again, guidance for industry documents are always non-binding recommendations. Most probably they start with the current thinking of the US FDA, and then the text is following. I just have used that because it's very important that you understand that there are different offices at the US FDA. So combination products are a combination of medical devices and medicines. So part 820 and part 210, 211, for example. I just opened that here because going to this page, the different offices are the Center for Biological Evaluations and Research, Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, Center for Devices and Radiological Health, and the Office of Regulatory Affairs. So there are different offices. Whenever you read something, just have a view on what kind of things you are doing, what kind of products, and the document that you have in front of you, which office have written it, and does it belong to part 211 or to part 820 or to any other part, depending on the product that you produce. I just added that because currently the CSA guidance for industry, some also think it does also apply to the pharmaceutical industry, and it doesn't basically. Yeah? Just always read who is writing it. So the US FDA did a change of part 820. You can find it here on the wonderful website of the US FDA, quality system regulations. Sometimes the terms are different. The FDA also have written a statement to that. Some call it QMSR and others call it a little bit different. There was an update at the end of January this year, 2024, with a stronger relationship to ISO standard 13485. But it's good to read that and to know that the new rule will be effective on February the 2nd, 2026. So from now on, 1.5 years, something like this. So it's worth to be informed about that. The slide that I was showing you represents the current status. So for example, the device master record and so on, they changed that a little bit. Try to investigate. The website is still quite very good, giving you different references, what was changed. You find it here also in the, and that's also very important, the Federal Register Notice, what the agency has done. I just have highlighted here some information. I think that's very useful, that they highlighted what was changed. Let me scroll a little bit, I will find it. So here you find it, which chapters have been changed of the new rule, sorry, not role, the new rule. And what I think is also quite very interesting is the law contains in the first section always comments and the responses by the US FDA, and then the final law is presented after that. So it's really worth to read every single comment and the responses of the FDA. There's a difference between regulations and rules. They are very formal, but reading the responses, you can even understand the thinking of the US FDA and how they put in arguments, what their current view is on different topics. So take your time, read also the comments and the responses, and then the new final rule that will come on 2nd February 2026. To complete that short session, there's also a kind of an harmonization approach between the different agencies. It's called the Medical Device Single Audit Program, in short MDSAP. Does not have to do anything with the ERP system SAP. So there are different members. The US FDA also have here a wonderful website, how it was done, how they integrate IMDRF, formerly GHTF guidelines and so on. What are the members? Australia, Brazilian, Canada, Japan, and the US FDA. The Europeans with the ISO standard, for example, or the British So you see that how this is integrated. You find a lot of information about MDSAP. So it's a combination of different regulations. What I want to show you here, maybe that's the most valuable document. It's the MDSAP audit approach. They have a lot of documents, how they prepare the audits, what is the scope of the audit, how you can join the MDSAP approach or something like this. I must go to page 20, so then it goes quicker. Oh, that was too much, sorry. So let's go to page 20. So what they have done is they defined all the audit activities as tasks, and for every single task, it's oriented on ISO 9001, more or less. They have defined, let's go here, task number 1. Where is it? Here we are. So QMS planning, implementation, change, and quality manual. And I think that's very interesting. They define the task, what will be audited, what is in the scope of the audit, what is the acceptance criteria for that. And here you see that how they did that. They mapped the ISO requirements, the individual chapters to that, from the TGA, from the Australians, Anvisa Brazilians, PMDA from the Japanese, and the US-FDA regulations. I think this audit program, this audit plan will be updated based on the new Part 820, which will come in February 2026. So, but that you just get a short overview on the regulation, Part 820, the mapping of that Federal Register, where you can find it, the eCFR website, read the federal notice around that, especially if something new is coming up, and the MDSAP audit. So that was quick and fast, an overview on the regulation. We don't do a YouTube session here and reading every single sentence of Part 820. You can do that by your own or get some consultancy. Okay, thanks so much. That was it for today. Thank you. Bye-bye.